I've been spamming this build inside of random lobbies trying to get a new high score. This run only got 92 million. My high score is 132 million, even though it ended up being an L. We're going to talk about some of the additions that I ended up making to the build, as well as some new techs that we're going to be utilizing inside this build. For our tanky setup, we are actually tankier. We ended up swapping out our R slot and adding a C slot. The R slot is fantastic to add that sprint shield for the sniper setup, but the C slot here is going to provide us with a bit extra damage and allow us to have 2 flex slots for those elements. With these 2 slots open, you're able to swap to whatever elements that you need for whatever fight you're fighting. Ideally, you swap to cult resistance when you're fighting Gluttony, and I'll be honest, you are probably tankier than you need to be for 90% of the content other than Gluttony. So I wouldn't worry too much about maxing out, maximize toxic resist and all this extra stuff. It's cool, but you probably don't need it because you're also going to be moving. But if you just want to, just be super tanky, do whatever you want to do. So for Gluttony, we swap both of these out and we make these changes. And you can even maximize this a bit more by, of course, doing this maximize chill resist swap. And then you can switch out this anti-freeze and get a higher level one. That way you get some more resistance versus cold. Safe recovery will end up giving you some more HP heal, which is pretty solid. The income and damage modifier does not go up. And then for sensory depth versus autoimmunity, you end up getting 10.5, while sensory depth you get 13.5. But what you end up getting with autoimmunity is a little bit more healing on the back end. So I don't think either is wrong. I do feel like for the low HP annihilation sets, you should take less damage out front. Works out a little bit better because you're not really looking to heal when you are running with the low HP variation. But both of these are very good. Either one works out well. And the negative mana does not really matter at all. If for some reason your mana is getting too low and you feel like you want to go ahead and regen it outside of just using Zenith, and you want to swap something inside of here, you can add this M slot. And then you can put in strong mentality. That lets us transition clean into our higher damage variation of the build. So Walker Tightrope, and we have our elemental resistances, and we have strong mentality just so we have a consistent flow. And other than that, there's nothing different on this variation. Now, we do not have the conditional recharge, which we typically do run. What we are doing now in place of that is the component swap. When you swap components in the middle of a fight, you end up losing that HP, and this is going to be a faster way to put your HP at half, as well as a way to free up that slot. So inside of battles, I drop these 3. I kind of just full commit to it. Then you just right click or whatever the button is on your controller to select them again, and then you'll be at half HP, or typically less than half HP, and then with the bulk that we have inside this setup, you'll be able to eat those hits still. For the external components, the best sets are still going to be Annihilation, if you can lower your HP down, then Veteran, and then Acrobat. For our auxiliary, we have max HP as well as fire resistance. Then we have MP recovery in combat as well as chill resistance for our Annihilation sensor. Defense and MP recovery modifier. And then we just have toxic resistance here. For your reactor, skill cooldown, skill cost reduction, and HP heal modifier are going to be things that are somewhat relevant to the build. You don't really need a reactor. And then for our guns, we actually rolled weak point damage finally on this weapon for our Enduring Legacy. This is what we're rocking. I do like also playing around the extra magazine size. And in practice, I haven't really seen much of a difference when I'm fighting Gluttony. For our Thunder Cage, we upgraded a little bit. We got better weapon weight, which is going to give us a little bit faster weapon change speed, as well as that defense increase. So maybe we can pick somebody up a little bit better while we're utilizing this. And then this is we swap over to in order to pick up the green ammo as well as the white ammo. And so that way we have enough ammunition inside of our good old Enduring Legacy. And our Grex is still the same as last time. So here is what our reinforcement tree looks like. Pacemaker, that 25% skill cost reduction is pretty big. Here's pretty much an older tech, so I used to just shoot, reload, and hold down the button. Felt like it cut through the time pretty decently, but now if you shoot, reload, and then see the mag go in and roll, it's a little bit faster, so a little bit more DPS. That is all for your boy. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know below. And I ended up doing a component swap inside of this footage that you're going to end up seeing, and it is a 3-man Gluttony with some random, so worked out pretty well. Adios.